Alright, this video is going to update the technical status of North Springs Resources Corporation, NSRS. Now, yesterday we talked about how the chart was in a nice uptrend, but one of the things we warned about is that it was moving higher on lower volume. As you can see here, this volume relative to the previous days was much lower, and this really came back to kind of nip it in the butt and put an end to the uptrend. The other thing we talked about is that the stock had never had a low lower than the previous day's low. So like this low was lower than this low, higher. This low was higher than the previous day's low. This low was higher than the previous day's low. This low was higher than the previous day's low. But today you can see that the stock did put in a new low below the previous day's low, actually below the previous 2 days' low. And the psychological impact of that is anybody who bought up here yesterday is in the red if they're still holding. If they bought around 50, they're down, a decent amount, 15% or so. When it was down around 34 cents today, those people were really down about 30%. So there's going to be a lot of jumpiness from those people, and it'll really be hard for the stock to recover, in our opinion. Now you can see, let's take a look at what happened. This is a 15-minute chart. Now if you remember yesterday, we outlined the nice uptrend that we had here going on the 15-minute chart. And you can see that this got violated today at around 42 cents. And after it lost that uptrend, it then went on and traded lower by another 20%, down to 34 cents. So, and now you can see, coincidentally enough, the stock has recovered to just above this uptrend. But look at how low the volume is on this bounce. Real high volume took it down. Real low volume is taking it back up. So why does that matter? Because it tells us that there's really not a lot of demand on this bounce. People just kind of came in for the bounce and now they're getting out. So you want to really be careful here. Now the other thing we want to point out is what happened when the stock went red intraday. Now, NSRS closed yesterday. We're looking at a 5-minute chart from yesterday to today. NSRS closed yesterday, that's this last candle right here that you see, at 48.2, so 0.482 cents. Now, look at what happened when the stock finally went red. Just an absolute crash. I mean, we're talking in a matter of 10 minutes, the stock dropped from 48 cents down to 34 cents. So that's, we're talking about a drop of 30% in 10 minutes. That's really, really dangerous and creates a lot of panic, which is another reason why we think that NSRS will just kind of struggle. Now, can it continue and move higher and get back above the 50-cent level? Of course it can. What needs to happen? And what should you be watching now? Well, the first thing you want to watch is the lows of yesterday. Are yesterday's lows, which yesterday acted as support, you want to see, are they now going to turn into resistance? So we're going to make this line red. And you can see Where is this bounce stalling out at? Right at yesterday's lows. Again, the psychological impact of that is that the people who bought at the lows yesterday and maybe didn't sell up here, now they're just looking to break even, okay? Or the people who maybe bought a couple days ago in the low 30s, or even in the 20-cent range or the 25-cent range, and they never sold around 50 cents, now they're looking at this bounce and they're using it as an opportunity to get out. So in order to even think about getting back above 50, the first step is smashing above this red line on very, very high volume, extremely high volume. You can see the volume's doing better right here. It's starting to pick up a little bit. But it'll really need to get up and go in order to even think about getting back above 50. Now, say it's able to do that. Say it's able to reclaim the 43-cent level. What's the next area going to be? We're going to look right here at this 47 level, because you can see that yesterday the 47 to 48 range really acted as resistance yesterday, and it was able to break above it today. So the two key levels to watch will be 43 cents and then 48 cents. Any bounce that fails to get above these two levels, you really have to question if it's going to be able to get back above 50 cents. Now, as for the downside, what should you be looking for to see if these lows for today are going to hold? We'll make a green line here to represent support. We're going to go with the 41-cent level. Why did we choose that? Because that was the first pullback after the bounce happened. So it bounced from 34 up to 42, 43, and then pulled back to 41. So a lot of people now, just like they were watching yesterday's low at 43 cents, a lot of people now are going to be watching this intraday low of 41 cents when deciding if they should stay with NSRS or not. Now, say NSRS just kind of churns between, 40 and 45 cents. Really, that wouldn't be bad, because it would actually be nice to see a couple days of consolidation. When you get this straight up action like that, it creates a lot of people that have a lot of profits who panic when the stock starts to go red. But the thing to take away is the 43 and 48 cent levels on the upside need to be taken out. The 41 cent level as for support, and then of course naturally today's low of 34 cents. Now, one other thing we want to talk about is just, we can't emphasize this enough, what we refer to as green to red breakdowns. That's when a stock is green all day, like NSRS was from 9:30 until 12:45, and then goes red. If it opened green and it was green all day, remember, anybody who bought shares between 9:30 and 12:40 is buying above 48 cents. So the fact that it goes red, all those people who bought before 12:40 are now automatically sitting on losses right away. So you're going to have a combination of things. People are going to be selling. Those people are going to be selling to cut their losses. And the people who are in low, who have never had to see the stock really go red, are going to be selling to take profits because they're panicking and thinking it's over. This all comes back to what we preach at stockhaven.com about having a plan before you enter a trade, not only for taking gains if it rises, but oftentimes more importantly, having a plan for taking losses when the stock starts to decline. That could be saying that you're not going to allow it to go down by more than 5%, or you're going to take profits if it rises 25%. You're going to take profits at resistance. You're going to sell if support breaks. You know, these are all examples of what we mean by having a plan. But if you don't have a plan, you'll end up like one of these people who bought shares around 50 cents and probably sold them around 35 cents and lost about 40%. So hopefully this helps everybody get a better understanding of NSRS moving forward.